Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Martin Gooden High Performance Living Podcast and episode 4. I'm happy to say I've managed to get somebody who's quite elusive. You don't really do much interviews, which I'm kind of not astounded by, but he's the face of a big brand. It doesn't do much interviews, so that makes it even sweeter. Mr. Jon Leonard, who is the
Hi, Martin.
of ultra events. Okay, very famous for ultra collar white boxing, the white collar boxing brand in and around the UK. Jon Leonard, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share some of the knowledge and obviously let us know how you started and where your brand is actually going. Good morning to you.
Yeah, cool. How are you, Martin?
I'm not too bad, John. As I said, thanks for taking time out. I know you don't do these very often, but yeah, it's great that we can get you on today and talk about where you started, how you've progressed as a brand, what opportunities you've given to other people, and obviously some of the charitable work what you've actually done.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
So
I'm going to ask you two things, right? Two things to break the ice a little bit. Can you name me two famous Welsh singers?
Shirley Bassey and Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. Yeah, I was waiting for the Tom Jones.
Shirley Bassey's from Swansea, actually.
Okay. And probably the most intelligent UK British fighter was to come out of Wales. Okay. He was known for his high IQ. Not boxing IQ, but his high level of intelligence. Famous Welsh fighter.
Steve Robinson.
Nicky Piper.
Okay. I thought it was Steve Robinson.
Might be a bit before your time, John, but yeah.
No, I remember Nicky Piper when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, John, you're the man. You know, what can I say? You've done a lot for people. You've given people opportunities of maybe doing something, living their dream for 6 minutes if they can stay on their feet for that period of time. You've given opportunities to people want to do something what they never really would have had the chance. So basically what I want to do, John, is ask you, how did it all start for you?
Yeah, cool.
Not necessarily the boxing side or the event side, but in generally to do with your love of health and fitness before you got into what you was actually doing.
So I've always been into health and fitness. I've probably always been interested in it. I think the human body is a pretty incredible bit of kit. I think 90% of people don't quite appreciate how amazing their body is when you consider what it's capable of. Our bodies, you can literally push your body to the limit, go to bed in the night, and it gets stronger, fitter, and faster. Which, if people just stopped for a minute and considered that, it's berserk. It would be like getting in your car, driving at top speed on the motorway, park it in the garage overnight, and the next day you go out to it and it's faster. The human body is capable of that, which is it's mind blowing, really. Yeah. So I've always been super interested in it, always been really engaged in it. I used to be a personal trainer, so I started off teaching fitness classes. So I was teaching fitness classes and PTing. And the fitness classes I ran in a nightclub in Derby, and the agreement I had
the old pink coconut. The old pink coconut?
Yeah, the old pink coconut. Yeah, it was called Sin when I was there. So the agreement I had with the nightclub was that I could run my fitness classes there on Tuesday and Thursday nights if I put an event on. So I put on a white collar boxing show in 2009. Then kind of 2010, 11, 12, expanded a little bit to Nottingham, Leicester, Loughborough, sort of local places. You were the coach in Nottingham back in, I think it was 2010 or 2011.
First two shows.
Yeah. I sort of spent probably 3-4 years just learning how to do everything, I guess. And then once we learned how to do everything, we scaled. And it's funny, people say to me all the time, oh, it's an overnight success. I'm like, it wasn't. We spent 2009, 10, 11, 12, and 13, spent 5 years learning how to do everything. And then in 2014, we went from running like 5 shows in 2013 to like 100 shows in 50 locations in 2014. And
where was your first 5 shows? I know Derby was. I remember being invited by yourself and Clifton.
So Derby,
the very first one in Derby.
We went from Derby first, then we went to Nottingham, then Loughborough, then Leicester, then Sheffield.
Yeah.
I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah.
So all
So
kind
went
of
to Derby, Nottingham, Loughborough, you said?
Leicester,
Leicester, and then
Sheffield.
Sheffield as well. Right.
And then
Okay.
Sheffield was the first one really that we did where I just didn't know anyone. So, ran
Yeah.
ads, got people to sign up, just got a gym, contacted a venue, did it
Yeah.
there. And like Christmas 2013, I sort of sat back and thought, well, we can do this anywhere. We've done it
Yeah.
in Sheffield, not knowing anyone. We can go anywhere. So then the following year, we went from like 4 or 5 cities to 55 cities in 2014. And I was
Wow.
literally at a boxing show every single weekend because we'd just be like, let's do one in Leeds, contact a venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got July the 1st available. Yeah, we'll have that date. Let's go. So
Right.
for the entire year, that year, I was pretty much every Saturday and Sunday at boxing shows all over the country.
Right.
Then
Okay.
2015, we went up to about 70 cities. 2016, we went up to about 90. 2017, we like maxed out in terms of locations for the boxing.
Yeah.
We had this funny situation where we started raising money for charity in 2014. And in
Okay.
2017, so March is our busiest month of the year because of New Year's resolutions, the way the calendar falls, our busiest month of the year. And in March 2017, we raised 750 grand for charity, £750,000 in one single month. And I was
Wow.
like,
In 1 month.
wow, it's amazing. And I thought, this is
Yeah.
amazing, but we can raise £1 million. And I was like, we can't raise £1 million just doing boxing because we'd maxed the country out. We did it everywhere. So that's why we introduced MMA. Then the
Right.
following year, in 2018, we did 850.
Right.
And then in 2019, we introduced the comedy as well and the trips to Kilimanjaro, and we raised 950. And
Right.
then
Okay.
in March 2020, on March the 16th, we were on 540 grand. And Boris shut the country down for COVID. So we were on
Yes.
track in 2020 to raise £1 million in March, which is
Right.
it's mind blowing.
Mind
It's
blowing.
crazy money to raise.
Right.
And
Okay.
now this March, we're back on track for it. So it's looking pretty positive that we've been doing the first few days of the month, we've been doing 30 grand a day. So
Yeah.
the aim is in this March to raise £1 million for various charities in one single month, which is
So don't you focus so much on cancer research no more, or you spread it across?
so we used to only raise money for CRUK up until we got to 30 million. And then when we
Wow.
got to 30 million, we decided to open it up to different charities. We ran some tests in Derby the sort of year before, giving people opportunity to raise money for different charities. And I was surprised, if I'm honest, at how many other charities people wanted to raise money for.
Yeah.
So we made that change last June. So now it used to be you signed up, you could only raise money for CRUK. Now people sign up and they can pick their charity. And it's been
Okay.
really nice. You're seeing
Yeah.
really sort of personal stories, people raising lots
Yes.
of money.
Very
for charity.
relatable to a lot of people. Yeah.
People raising, like, we had someone last year raise £7,000 for a local hospital, and it was,
Yeah.
because of a family thing. And it's
Yeah.
really nice. Obviously, it's not nice to see people have had problems, but it's nice to see it's an opportunity for people to raise money for something that's close to their hearts.
Mm.
And because of that, our fundraising per head has gone up,
Yeah.
which means this March we should smash £1 million. The realistic target is to do £1.2 million this month for charity, which for a little company that started in Derby in 2009, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. So John, I'm gonna go back to Derby now. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to your teaching of classes, your funkyfitness.com.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Funkyfitness.com, yeah?
Yeah.
I know the concept of where white collar boxing kind of started. So what was it within your fitness concept, what you then realized that, I can diversify a little bit into going into the boxing
So
side? Was
I
it the
think
kind of clients you had coming to the classes that you already had that kind of
it was funny
you already had the kind of guys what could transition into maybe living a dream in having their first fight?
So back then, in
Yeah.
2009, white collar boxing was very different to how it is now. White
Yeah.
collar boxing in 2009 generally was guys from one gym would box guys from another gym.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it worked. And, this whole
Yeah.
like unlicensed thing that people banned around. white collar boxing was like a part of that. I think we were probably the first people to do. You go to one gym, you train for 8 weeks, then you box each other. And it was quite a different way of doing it to how it was done then. So Clifton Mitchell, who you know really well, I remember asking him back in 2009, want to do this thing, will you do the training? He delivered the training. And he still does it now, 15 years on, Clifton is still doing the training. And that concept of getting everyone together in one gym means you get fair matchups, you get nice camaraderie, everybody gets on. It makes it just an all-round really nice event. And now there's white collar boxing events all over the country all of the time, and I think that's very much from people seeing what we do and replicating it.
Try to replicate it. So I remember going to London. It would have been just before your time, because I was training a fighter, found it hard to get him on a show. Took him to a place where you're probably familiar with in Bethnal Green called the Real Fight Club. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Alan Lacey. Okay, at the time, I think it was Spencer Fearon was in that gym there helping out, and Tundi Ajayi. Okay, have gone on to great professional things. Was there any kind of struggle what you had in the sense of the legality of white collar boxing? The legality of white collar boxing, because it's not something, it's different to the British Board of Boxing kind of control in the sense of
so how
you have to cover yourself. You have to cover yourself first.
So we're obviously really up on health and safety. We run up to 40 events in a day sometimes. So everything's got to be generic. So when people use this, you hear England boxing saying unregulated. Realistically, it's nonsense. Our events are fully regulated. We have health and safety packs. We have matching protocols. So if we're running an event in Aberdeen, that event is exactly the same as an event we're running in Exeter, because we have set processes to do everything.
Right. Okay.
These views are good. All the medical procedures are always the same. We recently, last year, we became certified by the ISO. So the ISO is an international standard, and we qualified. All our processes are good enough for us to be recognised by them, and now our events are certified by them. They are like a proper external body who are totally independent, who check up everything we do, which is great. And when we went to them, they asked us, well, what's your process for this? What's your process for that? And we had process everything they asked for.
Everything ticked off.
Everything ticked off, and we just do things properly,
Yeah, of course. So this is one thing what I want to ask you, John, and this one sentence here and your answer will bring it into place, right? Do you actually turn away fighters as well? Because for every person what fights, surely there's going to be one and two what you have to turn away, maybe for health and safety reasons, maybe through their experience, etc., etc.
Yeah, of course. So at the start of training, everyone fill out a health questionnaire, and there are a number of reasons why someone can't take part. So if someone's epileptic, they can't take part. If someone's had a previous brain injury, there's a number of reasons why people can't take part. So at the start of training, before anyone enters a gym, we have a screening process. We employ a doctor to give us advice. So we employ a British Boxing Board of Control doctor. So if there's anything we're ever unsure of in the office, we can refer to him because he's qualified to give that advice. So some people don't make it to the start of training. Some people, through their training, they'll maybe miss some sessions or they're not quite getting it. So we'll suggest to them moving on to the next event. So say if you're 3-4 weeks in and someone's really struggling, we would say to them, if you want to, would you be more comfortable to carry on with a bit of training, say move into the July event to give you an opportunity to get fitter and to get more prepared for it. So we do that. The key, I think, to our events is that people are fairly matched. So whatever standard you're at, it's fair. We wouldn't get someone who was fantastic, who was ex-professional rugby player in Royal Marine, and put them against someone who was super unfit. That's the beauty of getting everyone to train together, because everyone trains together as a group for 8 weeks. You watch them all, you get to know what they're all about. The coaches get to know them, not just what their boxing ability is like, how fit you are, how fit they are, what their temperament's like, and then they can be matched fairly for a bout at the end.
So obviously with such an expansion, your business has gone, and having, charitable fights all over the UK. Okay, how do you manage it? Because they say when you get bigger, it becomes like kind of harder to manage it. Is it a case of you developed a real good team?
So we've got real set processes for everything. So we've got a matching criteria, and everybody's got to be matched within that criteria. Then we have on event day, everyone has a pre-fight medical, everyone has a post-fight medical, and we have procedures to follow for everything. So like the ring hire company turn up, they put the ring up, they have to sign a document to say they've put the ring up properly. The security company arrive, we have assignment instructions, they know what they've got to do. The medics arrive on site, we check their ID to make sure they are medics.
Yes.
We check their ID to make sure they are who they say they are. We check them online to make sure they're still qualified. Then they sign a document to understand what they've got to do. So everyone that's there all signs the individual documents to understand what their roles and their responsibilities are. So everybody knows exactly where they stand and exactly what they're meant to be doing on event day. So then that gives you consistency. It's not a case that, John, who runs a show in Grimsby, does it a different way to Steve, who runs a show in Glasgow, because you could never make it safe if you did it like that, because the standard would be different everywhere. Make everything very standardized, very level, or everyone follows it, and then the event runs well. After the events, we have someone in our office. So imagine we run all the events on the weekend. We get all our health and safety files back on Monday, and then there's someone in the office that goes through them every Monday to check everything's been done properly. Has everyone had a pre-fight medical? Has everyone had a post-fight medical? Have the medics signed in? And we check to make sure all the processes are done. Because, you could put all the processes in the world in place. If no one follows them, a waste of time. So we have all these processes, and then we make sure people follow them.
Yeah. Right. So, like you must have some amazing stories, emotional stories for some of the people that have fought on your shows, the males and females that have fought on your shows. Some really sad stories as well, in the sense of there's a reason why, people are going to step up their game and go in the ring and want to fight. And some of it must be based on some really strong emotion of probably losing somebody, or, being told that they're not nobody, or wanting to fight, as you said, for a charity of a cause of somebody they may have lost, or somebody that knows quite sick. So
positive stories are incredible. We had one guy who had tried to commit suicide. He saw an ad to sign up. He signed up to take part in the event. Completely turned the guy's life around. I funnily enough, I bumped into a guy in the gym last night, actually, and I was just chatting to him, and I was like, "Oh, how are you, mate? You okay?" And he took part on our show. It's one of the first ones back after COVID. So I think early 2022, he took part, a guy called Neil. And when I was chatting to him last night, I was like, "How's your training going?" He said, since I did the white collar boxing, it's ignited something in me. He said, and now I consistently train 4 or 5 times a day, because a lot of people who go to your commercial big brand gyms, they go on the cross trainer, they think they're doing a bit of fitness. They think maybe, and then they go to a boxing club and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm not fit."
You realize
it gives you a whole new understanding of what fitness is. And we have a lot of people who take part across the 8 weeks, and they'll say to us at the end, and we'll give them some advice on nutrition, we'll give them advice on extra training. And at the end of the 8 weeks, they'll get an email saying, "I stopped eating junk food. I've started, I've been going and training 5 days a week. I feel loads better." And we're like, "Of course you do." Of course you do. All you've got to do now is continue doing what you've been doing for the next 8 weeks, and think about how amazing you'll feel in a year. We have people that lose 2 stone in the 8 weeks, and after the event they carry on and they lose another 3-4 stone, and they get down to their ideal weights. It's a entry point for a lot of people to get fit, healthy, and do something amazing. I think in this country, everybody tries to beat everyone down all the time. The press is negative. Everyone's, if someone sees someone in a nice car, they don't have nice things to say. And I think one of the things our events does for people is it makes them realize what they're capable of. Because, they don't think they can do this thing. They're always being told they're no good, blah, blah, blah. And then they stick it out. They do the 8 weeks training. You take them to places in the gym that they've never been in their lives before. They get super fit. They walk out in front of 1,000 people and they have a boxing match. And after that, they're like, "I can do anything. If I can do that, I can do anything."
And they must get a lot of respect from the peers as well, because they're, as you know, John, a lot of, you're going to be one of the 2%ers to actually go in the ring and fight, win or lose. I know my superpower comes from boxing, okay, and my confidence comes from boxing, and my attitude comes from boxing, okay. And I know that for all those what were willing to watch, okay, when I used to fight, I know that they would never want to do it. So that gives me a slight, might say mental edge or whatever, but it does, because it's something what you're not willing to do. Why? Because it's scary. You know what I mean? It's frightening. It's frightening. Let's be honest, it's frightening. You're matched up with somebody equally the same weight, equally the same ability, equally the same strength. You're gonna get hurt. It's scary, and not many people will step into that zone. So, although professionally and white collar, it's a different kind of experience, even though it's the same experience when you're fighting.
Yeah.
One man, it gives you that little edge. And some people have gone on to turn professional from.
Yeah, I think I'm not. If I'm honest, I'm not sure exactly how many, but I think probably about 15 people have gone on the pro boxers afterwards, which is, the majority of pro boxers start boxing when they're 10. The majority of them start when they're kids. So for us to have people who are maybe 20, 25, 30 come and box on a white collar boxing show, continue, some will turn amateur, some will go straight pro, but to have people turning to become British Boxing Board of Control professional boxers, I think is incredible. And when you look at boxing as a whole, I personally think what we do just turns the public onto boxing. So, you've never, we'll have someone who's never been to a boxing show before, had no interest in boxing. They go to watch their mate who's an accountant box. And they're like, this is actually all right. This is actually pretty interesting. This is quite cool. Do you know what? I'm going to buy the pay-per-view and I'm going to watch the boxing on the weekend. And you get a lot of people, I think, who come to our show and they then become boxing fans after it. Certainly the people who take part. And I personally think a lot of people in the crowd as well.
Yeah. I know you'll always get this into it for the guy, even on the process before they actually step in the ring. What will will say, I didn't realize that I could, I can be, say, hitting or sparring with somebody, and I get so tired.
For sure. I think one really nice thing our events do for people is give them respect for pro boxers. Because you look at a pro boxer and you're like, that guy's 17 stone and he's doing 12 threes.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh my God. It's a little bit like, and it's the same in every sport. If you go running, you look at a marathon runner, an elite marathon runner, you're like, how can they possibly do 26 miles in 2 hours? It seems mind blowing. And it's nice that when people come and take part in one of our events, they get that appreciation for pro boxers and they realize just how hard they work, just how special what they do is.
True.
Again, I think it's another real positive,
Yeah. So, John, you also used to own obviously health and fitness gym. Is that correct?
Yes, I had like a commercial gym from 2011 till about 2013, and then as the events took off in 13, 14, I sold the gym and concentrated on the events.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the event stuff. It's just a nice
more than being in one place. More than being in one place running a commercial gym.
Yeah, for sure. It's really nice. I travel loads, go all over the country, go to different training, different events, meet different people, hear these incredible stories from people.
Yeah.
It's just all around a really nice, really positive thing to be involved in,
Okay, so you're expanding, John, yeah? You're expanding. Obviously, you're looking at going into other parts of the world.
Yes, so we did 2 events in Canada last year. So we did an event in March and an event in October, both hugely successful, raised $65,000 for charity, which is about £40,000.
Wow.
Then this year we're doing Calgary, Toronto and Vancouver in March. And then at the end of the year, we're doing about 15 locations in Canada. And we're just about to start in the US and Australia as well.
Right, okay. Can you also tell me a little bit about the Ultra MMA? Is it Ultra Comedy? Ultra Ballroom? And then you can tell me a little bit about your supplements as well.
Yeah, cool. So Ultra MMA very much came about from that thing where we raised £750,000 in the March. We raised 750k in March 2017. And I was like, how can we raise more money? And we thought a few of the MMA gyms had spoken to me about us doing MMA events. And initially I was like, there's no way we can do MMA with 8 weeks training. There's too much to teach. We can't. I said, we can't do it. There's no way we can do it. And a few, really well-respected MMA gyms in the UK asked me to do it. So I thought, do you know what? We will try doing one. And I was happy it was safe. And we looked at all the safety stuff.
Yeah.
And my concern was that it would wouldn't be safe. And then the secondary concern after that was that it would just look like a Saturday night brawl in town. I spoke to a few guys who are real top level referees, top level MMA guys. We devised a rule set where there are no head strikes on the floor, no elbows, no knees to the head, no kicks to the head. So you can stand
on the up and down, on the down and on the up. No,
head strikes are allowed with your hands when you're standing, but no kicks to the head at all, and no head strikes on the floor. So similar to an amateur MMA rule set. And then we use mainly jiu-jitsu gyms. We use mainly BJJ gyms to deliver the training. So the majority of the training is jiu-jitsu. Everyone is taught to strike. Everyone is taught to do takedowns. But from a safety viewpoint, if people are mainly doing jiu-jitsu, then it's going to be reasonably, it's going to be very safe, I would say. So we were happy with safety element. We ran the first event and it was brilliant. I went to the first show and I was sitting next to the coach. I always remember sitting next to one of the coaches, and he said, if he pulls his arm through and he lifts his left shoulder up, he'll get him in an arm bar. And I was like, what's an arm bar? And I watched it and I was amazed, and I was like, and then I got an appreciation for jiu-jitsu. Really happy with the show went. And, we were having people winning bouts with technical things, winning with arm bars, winning with guillotines. And it's nice, really nice to see. In the MMA, a lot of people continue training afterwards because they then want to work their way through the belt system, which is something I think jiu-jitsu has got. That's a really nice thing, and it's a good way of keeping people engaged and involved in the training. And the comedy was introduced off the back of wanting to get to that £1 million in March. So we introduced So we introduced the comedy in 2018, and that's exactly the same principle. We get beginners, we coach them for 8 weeks, and then they do a stand-up show at the end instead of having a fight. But the basic process is the same. Then we also added in trips to Kilimanjaro. So I personally went to Kilimanjaro in 2017, and I didn't think my experience with the company was great. So I thought, we can do better than this. So we set a company.
You actually went with a different company prior to
the company in 2017. I didn't think it was very good. Like, that company met us in the airport and just gave us our tickets. So it was like, I don't know, 15 of us. We'd never met people before. Got on a plane, flew to Tanzania, and got met by a load of guys who couldn't speak English in the airport in the middle of the night. And I remember standing there, I think, there's not even anyone from the company come. So I thought, I can do a better job of this. So we did our first trip in 18, then 19, then COVID happened, and then we restarted last year. I go on the trips myself. We obviously have a doctor, we have all the guides, and I go. So there's someone from the company there saying, right, guys, this is the exit. We're going to go and get on a bus now. We're going to go to this
So when you go to Kilimanjaro, then do you have like kind of things set up again related to health and fitness, or is it more just adventure? You know what I mean?
It's adventure, it's not health. We always have a bit of a laugh and do some burpees at the top, just for a bit of mess about. I'll have a nice burpee. But
so what kind of demographic is it? Is it mainly middle age, or is it young as well as old?
So last time we had a girl who was 21, and then we had a couple who were 60. Massive range of people, We take doctors with us to make sure we can look after everybody. But real range of people, and it's quite. I think. Do you know when I went to Kilimanjaro in 2017? I think it changed my life a little bit, because when you're in Tanzania and there's people, you see it on the TV, but you almost don't realize it. People literally walking to the river to get water and carry it in a bucket on their head. You see that on TV and you think maybe it doesn't happen, but then when I was there and you see it, it gave me a real sense of gratitude, which I think probably changed me a bit when I was there. So I went up Kilimanjaro, came back down. I never forget going to get a shower, because obviously when you're on the mountain, 5 days up, 2 days down, 7 days you don't have a shower. And I remember coming back down and turning the shower on, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. and it was like
Yeah.
a cold shower because the lodge we were staying in didn't have hot water. But I
Okay.
just remember having a real appreciation for having a shower,
Yeah. Yeah.
having
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
flushing toilet. And then, I
Yeah.
got back to the UK and I was like, oh, this is a hot shower. Oh my God. And it gives you more gratitude, which I think probably
Yeah.
helps quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
again,
Definitely.
like when I said at the start, people don't appreciate how amazing the human body is. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people don't appreciate how lucky we are to live in the UK. Like
Right.
living in this country, we're pretty gifted just when we're born, in my opinion,
Mm. Mm.
compared
Mm.
to if you've been born somewhere else. So, when you have challenges, when you have problems, I think if you can just remember, well, actually, do you know what? I've got a bed that I sleep in, got a house that I sleep
Yeah.
in, and I've got a
Yeah.
car I
Yeah.
drive to work. I'm doing all right.
Yeah. 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 True. True.
I
True.
think that gets you through more challenges when you just appreciate like running water. Like
Yeah.
if you just think about the process, you walk into your kitchen, turn a little knob on a tap, and water comes out of it that you can drink. Like
Mm.
the process for that water to get to that tap, it rains, they catch it in a reservoir, they clean it, they
Yeah.
pump
Yeah.
it down pipes that are underground to your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
pretty incredible when you think about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think having appreciation for that stuff helps.
Yeah,
It's just
and
not
that's the
taking.
thing, innit? A lot of people don't, unfortunately. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? A lot
yeah,
of
for
you know,
sure.
a lot of people see the negative side of things rather than the
So many
beauty
positives.
that surrounds us. You know what I mean? So, John, you went into supplements. Why supplements?
So with people who take part in our events, we give them
Yeah,
advice on nutrition, and
yeah,
you'll know probably 90% of the UK, if not 95% of the UK, don't really understand nutrition. They don't.
yeah,
They've got
yeah,
haven't got a grasp of it. I think you are fed so much nonsense by the
mm,
internet and the government to an effect. I think the NHS as
yeah,
well to an effect give out so much poor advice. People just don't know what they're doing.
yeah,
So people would ask me, "Oh, what supplements do I want to take?" And I wasn't a particular fan of any brand, and
yeah,
I wanted I wanted really to give people who took part in our events a solution. So for me, the vast majority of people don't have enough protein. You've got guys
yeah,
who weigh 100 kilos and they're having 50 grams of protein a day. It's just not enough.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
we did a protein supplement to help those people. We are very much about whole food. So we very much push people eat natural whole foods. But
yes.
if you're a 100-kilo guy and you want 200 grams of protein a day, it's pretty tough
You can get
from whole
with, yeah,
foods. So we've made a supplement you can take. The supplements we make are all very natural. The sweeteners in them are stevia, all really natural, good quality products. And then the second, I suppose you could call it an objection when you're giving people advice on nutrition. Oh, I work as a builder. I've got to have Greg's for lunch because it's convenient. Or I'm a
mm,
sales rep. I'm always in the car. I always buy a sandwich in the garage. So we made a meal
mm,
replacement.
yeah,
Again,
yeah, yeah,
natural meal replacement, real good quality to help those people. Because when people take part in our event, I want them to get maximum results. And
yeah,
if you want to get maximum results from an 8-week training program, you need to train and you need to recover and you need to eat. You could say eating is included in recovery, but
yeah, yeah,
they're sort of the key things are training well, exercising well, and eating
yeah,
well. They're the
yeah,
three main things, in my opinion.
yeah,
So we exercise them well, we give them advice on how to recover well, and then we also give them help on nutrition so that they can eat well. So it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
the ultra nutrition was very much just a way to make it easier to what do we call it? Making healthy easy. And that's
yeah, yeah,
all we need to do is just make it a bit easier for people to eat well. Because like I'm pretty organized, so I will always plan ahead and I'll make food. And some of my friends think I'm mental. I turn up places. I don't know if I'm
got
flying
the,
abroad, I'll take a bloody Tupperware box to the
yeah,
airport,
yeah, yeah.
walk
I'm
through
like,
security with it,
I'm
and I'll be
quite anal like that.
yeah, I'll be sitting in the lounge eating out of a Tupperware box, and people are looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And I'm looking at them and thinking, "What are you doing eating that pizza before you go on
Yeah,
holidays?"
yeah, yeah,
So I just wanted to make it as easy as possible for people by giving them a
yeah,
meal replacement, by giving them the protein supplements. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
straightforward.
And the thing is, John, probably not. It can't be all of them. Obviously, it can't be all of them. But there's going to be some people that have never tapped into that before. Never tapped into exercising at the
Sure, yeah,
intensity they have to before they're going to fight. So you can imagine what results they're going to get from just making these getting these small marginal wins, but
yeah,
being consistent. how it's going to change the body composition, the energy levels, you know, the
I
rest.
say to people all the time, like someone will come to the start of training, you know, they're maybe 30 years old, a bit overweight,
Yeah,
and I'll be like, what's crazy is that you spent 30 years getting overweight, and you spent maybe not 30 years, because maybe not when they're a kid, but let's just say I'll say to them, you spent 30 years getting out of shape,
yeah,
and you're going to get reasonably in shape in 8 weeks. And again, if
hmm,
you just think about what I said right at the start, the human body, that's pretty incredible that someone can, you
yeah,
know, overeat, abuse their body, not exercise, do all these bad things for maybe 30 years. And
yeah,
if they knock it down for 8 weeks, they can completely change. And then
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying you're going to have a mad, um, life changing fitness and health improvement in 8 weeks. But what we do want to do is get people a good bit fitter and healthier in 8 weeks and give them the tools that they can continue with that healthy lifestyle forever. So, you
yeah,
know, like make it easy. This is how you eat healthy easily. This is,
mm,
you don't need to go to the gym for an hour and a half. You can go to the gym for 20 minutes and you can do this. It's easy and it will keep you fit.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
very
yeah,
much
yeah,
what we try and teach people. You know, like I'm busy and sometimes I'll be like, right, I've got 15 minutes to train. So like I'll
yeah.
walk in the gym and I'll walk out dripping in sweat, absolutely done in. And we try and get that across to people that that is possible, you know?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
just
yeah,
one of the things we try and explain to people. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. So, John, how? Yeah, I mean, it's no, you know, it's no doubt that what you're doing is working. Okay, you have to be a certain way. I don't care what anybody says. You have to be a certain way, and one of them is you have to be disciplined. Okay, so in your life, in your world, how important is it for you to be disciplined, focused, and the other thing is what, like, say, 5 habits do you have to make sure it gets done? So you're not guessing everything every day. You know, you got your purpose for getting it every day to make sure certain
Yeah.
things get
So I think being disciplined is probably the key to most people being successful. You know,
yeah,
that you know, when your alarm goes off at 5:30, you can quite easily just turn it off and stay in bed, or you can say, no, I'm getting up because I've got to do things.
yeah,
So
yeah,
for me, I always do to-do lists. So I'll do like a yearly to-do list, a monthly to-do list, a daily to-do list. When I'm
yeah,
really busy, I'll time box my day. So I'll be like, right, 5:30, I'm going to get up. 5:45 till 6:30, I'm going to train. 6:30 till 7, I'm going to walk a dog. 7 till 8, I'm going to do this spreadsheet or whatever. I'll like
yeah,
time out my days like that. I
yeah,
think to be disciplined, you need to make it easy. So I'll always do everything I can to make it easy, which at the time sometimes isn't easy. So like
yeah,
on a Sunday, I'll maybe be out and about, I'll be busy, I'll be doing stuff to do with work. I'll get home at 9 o'clock and I'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I'll think, no, I need to do food prep. And I'll get my
right,
food out. I'll get a load of salady stuff out of my fridge, chop it all up, put it in a big box. So then on Monday, when I don't know, driving to Edinburgh, I've
yeah,
got the pre-made food that's ready. And I think for me, making it easy is really important. I think making things attractive, so doing things you enjoy, as obvious
yeah,
as that may, like I personally go to a CrossFit gym and I
yeah,
enjoy it because I enjoy the competitive nature. So
right,
training is attractive to me because
yeah,
training in that type of gym is very performance orientated. And so you're always like, I'm always like, there's always something to learn. I always want to get better at things. You always want to be
yeah, yeah,
faster.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that makes training attractive to me.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, always having goals. So I think you
Yeah,
should always set yourself goals all the time.
yeah.
And just
Again, is that like kind of the long, short, medium? Because obviously, normally, long, short one will get to the long one, a medium, if you get what I mean.
I think one of the most important things around goal setting is the ability to have what do they call it? Delayed gratification.
Right,
So for me, loads of people just can't do it. Or they're not prepared to do it. They're not prepared to delay gratification with anything. Like if you just think about the gym, I go to the gym every day, right? And I
mm,
know I have faith in what I do. So I have faith in the things I'm doing will get me to the place I want to be, right?
right,
They
okay.
don't I don't look in the mirror every day and be like, oh yeah, I'm a bit faster today, because that's not how it works, is it?
Yeah, yeah,
So
true,
I
true.
know if I carry on doing what I'm doing, in 6 months I'll be in a better place. And I'm prepared to continue doing what I'm doing without seeing a daily improvement, because you just don't notice daily improvements, because I know long term it will be good. And that's just the same in business, in anything you do. You don't, you sometimes have to work at something for 6 months before you get anything from it. And a lot of people aren't prepared to do that. They're not prepared to make that sacrifice for a long period of time for the greater goal, if that makes sense.
You know what, John? There's a
This,
thing called, as you know, periodization, isn't it? It's just a form of periodization. It can be used in fitness. It can be used in business. It can be used across a lot of things. You get me? And it's broken down into cycles, isn't it?
And I do personally believe that the skills you learn from being fit and healthy are pretty directly transferable to anything in life. Almost, if you want to get fit, it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to spend a bit of time at it. If you want to get fit, you've got to effectively fail repeatedly and carry on going, right? If you're trying to get stronger, you need to be doing, depending on what type of training you're doing, right? You need to be doing like volume, or you need to be failing, and you keep on doing that to get to this end goal. And it's the same in life, in my opinion. You've got to be prepared to fail day in, day out, and you may fail 50 times and succeed on time 51. And as long as you succeed on time 51, it's good, isn't it?
Good, true.
And that's
so, John, what type of people do you like being around? What type of, if you're a reader, what book stands out? What you've actually read, or podcast? What stands out? So
I like all the Atomic Habits, some Tim Ferriss books, that kind of stuff. I only ever actually read my first ever book about a year ago.
Really? Okay.
Other than reading sports nutrition
And what
books.
was that? The James Clear? Is it James Clear?
It was a Tim Ferriss one, so I can't remember what it's called, but it's
not the 4-hour working week.
That guy, but not that book. So I read a book where basically he'd got quotes from successful people and put all these quotes together into a book. I can't remember what the book's called. One of my friends got it for me for Christmas. I think it was 2021. I think they got it for me. And I was on holiday somewhere and I read it and I thought, oh, reading's all right. The only reading I'd ever done before was reading sports nutrition books. That was it. I read one of those books, and what we do now in work, actually, I went to Waterspoons then. I went to Waterstones about a month ago, and I bought like 20 books, all that kind of ilk. And we got like a little book club in the office. So we've got all these books on the desks, and all the team take a different book home, read it, bring it back in, like Stephen Morrison's The Chimp Paradox, that kind of stuff.
Paradox,
it's all just interesting stuff. And for me, I would much prefer to spend my spare time either reading a book or exercising and watching the TV. Like I just don't watch TV. I just never watch TV because it's generally misery on the television. Like there's nothing good ever happens in EastEnders, does it? It's all bloody doom and gloom. I don't really see that adds any value to my life. So I've been trying to read more books, which I do actually really like.
Cool. So you mentioned something there, John. You mentioned, I'm not cutting you, right, but you mentioned something there. Obviously, you've got a team now. You built your business to the point where you've got a team. So before you put your team together, is it a case of you see the potential? They may not be there on the same page of self-development. But is it a case of I see something in them? I'm going to help them progress their self.
For sure. So the team of people that work here are amazing. Everyone in our office is brilliant, and that's very much. We've had people start who maybe haven't got the skills required, but they've got the right attitude, and then they upskill when they're here. So we've got a really great team of people. We're very much like we've got a positive attitude here, so we're very can do. We joke and say, the council attitude is banned. So, that kind of no, that you get from the council, that we don't really do that.
Negative business. Everybody gets negative out.
The whole, when someone walks in the morning and like, morning, traffic's bad. We just don't do that here. Because it starts the day on a bad footing. So everyone's very much got positive, can-do attitude, and it's a nice place to work. Like I genuinely like coming to work. Like I like coming to my office. I
Yeah.
like being surrounded by everybody here
Yeah.
because they're
That's good.
all good people, you know. And I think that's the
Yeah.
key to success in almost anything. And you asked a minute ago about what sort of people do I like to bother with, if you like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to bother with people who are positive, who've got a good attitude, who are can
Mm.
do. And like I say to people all the time, I love seeing anyone who's good at anything do it. So like if you know
Yeah.
if I see someone mopping a floor and they're doing it really well, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, look at that person mopping the floor. Look at how good a job they're doing. How
Mm.
like I feel like a nut saying it sometimes, but like you'll see someone doing a relatively simple task like that really, really well, and it
Well.
just impresses me. And just
Yeah.
like, you know, I'll go to a boxing gym and I'll see a pro boxer and I'll just be like, wow, they move so natural. That's amazing.
Mm.
And I'll go
Mm.
to, you know, the CrossFit gym and I'll see someone just smashing out ring muscle ups like it's nothing. And it impresses me. And I love being around people that you can be inspired by. And you can be
Yeah.
inspired by almost anyone. You know, that could be someone
Yeah.
who's 5 stone overweight, but they're just going and they're getting it done.
Going for
And
it.
that person can inspire me. So just
Mm.
anyone who is either good at something or is trying really hard at something.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Cool. You know what, John? What can I say? Been great having you on today. But what I want you to do is leave me with two things what will help somebody out there who's probably going to be listening and watching this. Two things, you know, I know it's everybody's on a different stage of their journey. Okay,
Yeah.
but two things what you feel, what you can say, what will probably help
I say
people
more than
out there.
two.
More than two. All right,
I
more
say
than
more.
two then.
I'm going to say more than
Well,
two.
you can
So
do
I
two,
would
but
say,
if you want to do more than two, that's a bonus.
yeah. So I think work hard is like simple, and that should really be a given. But just be prepared to work hard at things.
Yes. Yeah.
Have faith in yourself. Have
Yeah.
faith in yourself. You can do things, and never give up. I think that would be
Never
the
give.
third. Never give up. Everything will have problems. You know that the massive companies in the world, they didn't just happen. They went
Yeah.
through loads of problems. They went through loads of difficulties. They all worked hard. It's a whole accumulation of effort over a huge period of time. You know. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
they would be three.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. What about your development, your personal development? Where do you see your personal development going next? What is there
So
anything? No, I
I
gather that you're still aspiring for something.
yeah,
Must be.
so I just love what we do. Like
Yeah.
this year, in 2019 we raised nearly 5 million quid for charity. Last year we raised nearly 5 million quid for charity. My goal is by like 2026 when we scale to the US,
Yeah.
Australia and Canada is fully up and running. I want us to be raising like 20-30 million pound a year for charity, which
Right. Right.
I think is amazing. You know, and you know, then you get a guy who signs up to take part in Nottingham. They sign up
Yeah.
to box in Nottingham. Oh yeah, I've raised £500 for charity. That's gone into a pot that's raised £100 million for charity worldwide.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that is the big goal probably to
Yeah.
change people's lives, get people fit,
Yeah.
get people healthy, and as a
Yeah.
byproduct, raise maybe £50 million for charity a year. You know,
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
amounts of
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
to do good around the world.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. That's good. So, John, if anybody's interested in signing up, you know, for knowing a bit more about, let's say, the boxing as well as the
Yeah,
ballroom,
so they could just go on to ultraevents.co.uk, and if they go on to ultraevents.co.uk, they'll see everything on there. They'll see the boxing, the MMA, the comedy, the trips to Kilimanjaro, the nutrition, everything's listed on ultraevents.co.uk.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay. What about if anybody wants to contact you directly as well, or it's just go through the website?
Just email into our office. Yeah, email into our office.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Right, John. As I said, episode 4. I got you one. Okay, wanted
Cheers,
you
man.
one, and you've delivered some great bits of information there. And you know, as I said, you've helped out a lot of people in the past. Share, you know, give them an experience what they wouldn't. The problem, not too old to do it, but the amateur game can be a bit funny, and guys coming in at 27 saying they want to box at amateur because they know
Just
that the time
I
span.
I genuinely believe that what we do is really positive. We get
Yeah.
people fit, we get people healthy, we get people engaged in boxing. Those people then get their kids involved in boxing. We get people healthier. I think it's just all around a super positive thing that we do, and I'm really pleased that we do it.
Yeah. So it's definitely a good thing. Again, everything's got its place, and this is, and you're selling an experience for people to get involved for one night only over an 8-week period. You get me? And do something what they'll always remember.
Remember for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Bucket list.
Definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Right, John.
Thank you very much, Martin.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I'll speak with you very soon, John. Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye for now. Have a great
Bye.
day. Take care. Bye for now.